Hello, and welcome back to another video of mesh education with Wolf Dynamics. So this video is a continuation of the previous one that we were talking about Boolean operation with STL files. I hate this format. I don't recommend you to use this format, but it may happen that you are one of those OpenFont users that when you are doing the mesh and using Snappy XMesh require those STL meshes, or for whatever reason the geometry that you have, it is a triangulation. Probably you were working with organic shape zone. It's not my problem what you are doing. So these geometries are very tricky to work and to do intersections. So in the previous video we used Innova to do the intersection. This one I will introduce you a new tool, MeshMixer, which is a fantastic tool. I love this tool. I use it a lot when I work with STL and I need to do modifications to the STL or Boolean operations. I use it a lot, but I don't work with STL, so this is just in the case that I get the STL. So I can also use it to handle with dirty geometries now. And in this context, when I talk about dirty geometries, it's just we're not using a parametric CAD. So a reminder a little bit that this is the geometry that we were working. So this is the proper water cycling geometry, and there you can do all the operations. So look at that. Here we have the surface triangulation, and look at the difference that we have between the sphere and the cube. So this is the problem. We need to do that intersection using the triangulation. We don't have the topological information, so that has to be an operation that is done at the level of the triangulation. You need to somehow retriangulate and compute the intersection between the bodies. Instead, when you have the parametric CAD, is quite easy. And let me go here. Just you go there and boom, you have all the intersection. This is what you want, or what we want here. Okay, we did it with Innova. Now let's work with MeshMixer. So here you have the link. So the tool is not supported anymore. Here you have the comment, but it's fantastic. The claims that Autodesk moved this tool to another tool called Fusion 360 that I have it here also. It's a fantastic tool also. You can get it for personal use for free and so on. So I recommend you to try it. But however, the level, the easiness and the accessibility to the functions that I will show you here, I think you don't have it here, or it's a little bit tricky to work with Function 3D. The same functions to work with STL, you can have it in Blender, probably you know Blender, but Blender, it is quite difficult to use, but you have the same functions. But again, in MeshMixer, everything is readable, accessible, very easy to use. And another tool that you have is Space Clean, that is a fantastic tool, but same concept with Function 3D and Blender. That those buttons that you need to do the manipulation, they are not very easy to find and require some extra steps. So this is one is MeshMixer. I love it. I highly recommend it. It has a very good documentation. It's short but very good. And just to show you how good it is that you go to Mesh Basics. The first thing is about triangulation. It's going to talk about triangulations. What are those triangulations? Okay, so I'm not going into details. I'll talk about the definition, but you have everything there. So at this point, let's move now to the case, but let me remind you what we were doing in Innova. So let me go here, open, and to show you now the fast steps. Okay, so our steps, let me open the geometry. So I go here, so I already have it here, the queue and the first, just to show you what we're doing. So the previous video took us like half an hour. Now let me do it very fast here. So what we have here is this: two triangulations. We need to do the Boolean. We don't have that intersection there. Okay, so you need to eliminate what is inside, or whatever you want to do, that Boolean operations, that manipulation. So how do we do that in Innova? There are two approaches. The first one probably is the easiest one, and let me do this things right. So let me select these two, and I will create the volume. You go and you move to the meshing model. In the meshing model, you're going to, let me put here a large value, so to do things fast. And when you are here in the meshing model, you are going to do surface mesh only. We're going to do this. This is the string wrap method, and when you use the string wrap method, automatically it's going to intersect all your triangulations, and it is going to do the retriangulation, the refining of the surface, and do the proper intersection. So you see that we have it here. Well, it compute the inner. So let me go here, external, and redo it. And there you go. Perfect intersection. I click here just to have the triangulation, and this is what we want. As you see, to do this proper operation, you need to do the surface meshing again. If you do it at the cat level, not the cat level, surface triangulation level, it's a little bit tricky. It requires some computations. Those are the next step that we're going to see. So this is the easiest way to do it. As we see, it's very easy, but not always work. Okay, sometimes it will give you problems. So this is a quite easy geometry, but depending on the complexity, things can be a little bit more difficult to do, but it is a good way to do things. So the other way that I show you, let me reopen another document, is to stay, instead of moving to the mesh, let's stay at the level of the geometry. So what we want to do here at the level of geometry, and let me show you the surface triangulation. This is our surface triangulation, and also a reminder that when we import everything, you have all these black lines, means that it's watertight. You're finding all those edges, and it's important when we use MeshMixer, remember the feature edges. So what we can do here is just the intersection. So let me go here. See that you have this operation here. You can do a stitch and intersect, or you can do it manually. No? You can select faces and then right click, and then you have many operations. But let's go here and do this one, which this is way, and there you go. And see that, well, let me undo, just look at that, starting from here. Okay, now when I intersect everything, it will retriangulate everything, but it's not doing a proper surface triangulation like the one we did using the string rack, that kind of a Delanois triangulation. It's doing something there that I just need to reconstruct that surface. I don't care about mesh quality or dimensions. And this is okay, this is work. So remember also the color coding, that you have some lines there. So let me go there. This means that it's connected to 3 surfaces, and we need to do some cleaning. Erase here. Now I have the cube also in the cube. I have this and this, and I can erase. When you erase it, that everything becomes black. It's perfect. This one here also. Okay, I don't have anything there. Perfect, missing a hanging line, and there you go. You have everything a perfect intersection. Now this one you can move to the next step, that is meshing. So this is the second method. Okay, we have the first method that we did it at the level of the mesh. Okay, retriangulate, that probably is the best way to do it. Then this one at the level of the geometry will compute the triangulation, but what you get here in this surface triangulation, not necessarily something of good quality, so it might give you problems like we saw in the previous video. So if you didn't see the previous video, in the description you have the link. And now let me show you the third method to do this. So this is the one that I prefer now because it involves mesh manipulation. Okay, it's kind of a mixture between these two. So you have this, okay, the starting geometry, and remember this is what we have. But what we need to do is move to mesh, but we don't want to mesh this. We want to convert this surface triangulation into a mesh. So you have this option here, geometry to mesh, mesh to geometry, very powerful. So I click here, and now this is a mesh. So when it's a mesh, I can select every single element here. So let me do this, I will select these elements. Then let me go, and I want to intersect these elements, okay, with this sphere. So you can imagine also that intersection, the quality that you get, depends also in how fine is your surface mesh. So here you have options to refine. So let me go here, okay, and refine that there. So let me do a refining there. So split there. So you have something a little bit better, but still this is not the perfect mesh. But in any case, just to show you all the options that you have available. So basically what we want to do is intersect. Let me go here, okay, and then let's intersect everything here, and let me go select this. So this is a little bit control multiple selection, a little bit different from what we did in the previous video. And now to intersect, you have here this option here. So this will intersect faces of your mesh. Very powerful, and there you go. So as you can see, it is intersecting everything, creating that new triangulation, but it's not like in the first method in this one that is retriangulating. It's doing this, but as you can see, you get access to this mesh manipulation tools, and there is a lot of stuff here now, so feel free to play with these options. So we'll enable those buttons there, and at this point you have this, and this is something valid like in the second option. But now this mesh, this is a mesh, we need to bring it back to geometry. So see that we have this option here, mesh to geometry, and in mesh to geometry you don't have any more the mesh. Is one, you close it there, you have the mesh. And now, like we did in the previous case, now in this one we need to intersect this one, so you have the option geometry. Okay, so whoops, yes, this one here, it will intersect, and there you go, exactly the same. And now you need to do some cleaning, so just to show you, and I'm not going to clean everything, but this is the steps. Okay, very easy to do. Well, let me finish here, let me erase this one just to be 100% sure, and there you go. All the lines are black as we want. You have all the topology. So this is the issue with STLs. You don't have the topology, the underlying information, that topological information. So sometimes can be tricky to do these operations, you know, intersection. Sometimes you need to extract some information to get a better mesh. So this is our main problem. So very easy. We can do it with Innova. Now let's move with MeshMixer. So I will open here. So I'm preparing a completely new video to introduce you MeshMixer. Here I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, I don't want to go into details, but the first thing is that we might have different interfaces already. This and stuff here. So if you press a space bar here, you can change the background. So probably you have it in gray. You have some other options here to select normal. So be careful about this. No. So space bar. So now I want to import a sphere just to show you something that is internal in MeshMixer. Then we're going to import the geometries that we did with Innova. So look at that. When you import here, you have this solid, and you go into view. You can look at the wireframe, the surface triangulation, and then also there you have this option, object browser, so you can see all the objects that you have to. So you can have multiple objects, and you can do intersections and so on. Something very important about MeshMixer, we have a mesh, is selections. So get familiar with selections. You have it here. You select, and this is like painting in your surface. So you paint there, and you select here what you want to get. So look at that, I selected that. You have the brush side here, so you can change it. So with this selection that is different color, then you have these options enabled: edit, convert, deform, modify, and remember that we have the documentation. So here you will have everything, select, filters, edit, what you can do, but it's very intuitive. So for instance, I can go discard, and it will erase that. And see that you have that edge there blue. So let me go selection, and you have to also get familiar with some shortcuts here. So if I double click close to that edge, see that it's going to select everything around that boundary. And now if I select that one, I can go here and see that you have this option, erase and fill. It will fill that hole automatically. Fantastic. Now you are closing hole. So that was dirty. A hole there. I use this option and I close it, and you have many different options to do stuff there, but this is what we get. We repair the geometry very easily, and the same way you have many options. So get familiar with that. Then the other thing that you can do here, okay, it is sculpting. So this is digital clay. So you manipulate the geometry, so you can create crazy shapes. So if you have that artistic flair, today I don't have it, but I have done very crazy geometries here, manipulation. But just to show you that, for instance, you should select this brush, and you can select something, and look at that, you push out, and you can start to do things there. Then you have these ones you want to flat out or refine. Then painting, I use a lot painting because painting I will use it now just to remesh. Okay, let me go here, refinement. Okay, let me add side. Okay, so see that is erasing some features there. Okay, so there are many options, so feel free to play with those. Then you have this one is very helpful now, that smoothing, you start to smooth as you have funny stuff there. So this is what you can do with MeshMixer. There's a lot more, but basically focus in these two. Then you have shaders there to show you some shaders, just okay, textures. So there is a very helpful one, transparency, put it there and you have the transparency, and this is the standard one. So this is what you can do. And to show you now let me erase this one that I did here, and let me again bring back this sphere, but also let me bring another geometry, so this cylinder, and let me put it here. So see here that in the middle you have this triad, so this is a manipulator that you can move scenes, set, and you have it there. So you bring back the object browser and see that you have the objects here. So when you click in one, see that is the color change, or you can choose multiple with control, means that you can select those objects, or you have the eyeball there and you can hide and so on. So here you have this cylinder, you can press Ctrl A to select everything, or you can go into selections and select. And to show you something very powerful, so remember this is about painting, so you paint there and you can select. So far we have a single face here, triangulation, that you might have the impression that you have the feature edges, but in reality we don't have that information. So here, to capture those feature edges, you need to create, here I select that face and I go here and modify and see that a face group. A face group is a separate surface, and when you separate that surface, now here you will have this information. Okay, so this is very powerful. And by the way, when you save this triangulation, also this face will be saved in your OBJ. That only works if you save in OBJ. Here in export, you select OBJ and it will save that information. STL will be a single mesh, and you have that information there. So let me select, and again, so if I double click here, it will select everything, but see that it selects everything here, but it doesn't select here because now it's detecting, okay, this is separated. Okay, so this is the power of selections and creating face group. But let me select everything as well, and now also let me move here and edit. Edit, you have different actions, and see that I have this generate face group, and see that this automatically it will find all the groups, like something like I did previously. Now let me change this value, and according to this value, okay, it will change the selection. So using these values, now automatically separated in 3 faces. And now also I want to transform, so I hope you are getting an idea how this works. So let me transform here and here. So let me move here to intersect this sphere, because now I want to do the intersection here. Okay, as set. So play, you have many options there, so feel free to play with these options. So to do an intersection, remember the concept. Let me select bosses then. So when you select boss, here you have new options. So look at that. You have duplicate, transform, combine, and Boolean. This is what we want to do. And be careful, combine and Boolean are very different. Okay, so combine is something different. I'm going to use Boolean. But remember the idea that these surfaces, the triangulation should be similar in order to have a good mesh, okay, a good intersection. So if I click here, bam, bam, bam. I choose the wrong one, so I choose combine instead of Boolean. It will bring this one, and look at that. It is proposing this, and see how it is proposing to do a surface triangulation. You have many options here, so feel free to play with those options. Be careful, there is something that I don't like about this. So for instance, if you change these options here, when you start to work with another geometry, it's not going to bring back the default options. It's going to use the previous option, and sometimes it might happen that you have a very small value. So when you are clicking in surfaces here, it can be very slow, the operation, because it have previous information. So something important, okay, be careful about that. that sometimes might be really slow because you have previous information, and also this is memory intensive. You need a good GPU, a good CPU as well, and good a lot of memory, because these triangulations can be very, very expensive. So let me create a set, and there you go, a perfect intersection. So hopefully you get an idea how to work in MeshMixer, and you might have the impression that it's easier than Innova, but honestly I think it's better to do in Innova, but it's depending what you have. So also we have this Christmas card video, and we have the Santa geometry, and I use MeshMixer to smooth some scenes there. Okay, so I will prepare another video about that, but this is it. Something very, very important and to show you about, remember that you need to do this to split the surface in different phases to capture the feature edges. Otherwise you can have funky geometries. Okay, so let me go back here. Okay, this is the original geometry, and to show you what will happen if I don't split that. So I build it now using this concept, showing you this concept, because when we read the geometry, the one in Innova here, I'm not going to go into details, but don't worry if I'm going too fast, because I'm going to prepare another video just to show you all the instructions here. So let's say that, let me select everything here, and I want to clear all face groups. So see that you have selections and you can clear. So now that I clear those face group, I will try to do again that intersection, and look at what is going to happen. And remember, because we don't have face group, we don't have the feature edges. So be very careful about that. This is what happens. Okay, so always in MeshMixer, create those face groups when you have those sharp angles, because with those sharp angles, it's going to identify with those face group is going to identify the sharp angles. So let me show you again. Let me go here and let's select this one, and just to confirm that, go here, edit, and you have face group, and this is the chance. Now that you have the face group, you can select this one. And also let me show you something. Remember selections, very important, selections and manipulations. So let me go here. I select this one, and I will go selection, and let me select all the triangulation that is under this sphere. Now let me go like this, and you can get an idea that what I want to do is to have a retriangulation of that. So for instance, I can go like this, select that one that kind of is covering that. Let me hide the sphere, and you can go like this, select everything. You have your nice selection there. Remember, if you want to deselect something, control, and then paint again. So you can go, oops. Okay, let me select again. So be careful about that. So this is the annoying part, these selections here. Things can be done automatic, or you can use some criteria, some filters. So in the advanced video, I'm going to show you how to do that. So what I want to do is, okay, again, I make the mistake again. I forgot that. Let me select here, and I have the edit button. Now I cannot get out of that edit button. And let me go here. Okay, I just selecting this. That is what happened when I click there. Okay, I get out of that. Okay, that is another annoying behavior that you have in MeshMixer. Okay, so let me do it here now fast. So I selected that. You have here edit, and for instance you have remesh, and you can do a remesh there, and let me go there, and there you go. I remesh a set, and you have a better mesh there, and likely will be a better operation when you do the intersection. We can do the same, that we can go scale, and remember that here in this sculpting we can use here the refine, and I can go like this. Fantastic. But be careful about this, because this sometimes can create some degenerate triangles there that when you export will give you a problem, but there you go. I created there, you have there. So something much better. Select those there. And now I can go, so see that this is here is not very nice, but you get the idea. Boolean, set, and there you go. So remember previously we were having the problem there, here. So now with the filter edges, everything solved. And this is what we want to do, the Boolean operation. So just to demonstrate that it's a Boolean, transparency, and see that you have the hole there. And this is how we work, okay? So now let's do exactly the same case that we did here in Innova. Let's read those geometries. So I go here, file, import. You can append to this one or you can replace. I would replace. And this is here. You can select multiples or you can append in an incremental way. And this is what we have. Exactly the same geometry. And remember here, let me go wireframe. Okay, showing the wireframe. Remember that this is not good, this triangulation. So I'm not going to do it, but if you try to do like in the previous case that I showed you, the intersection, it is going to be super expensive because it is going to do the triangulation. And here you have default parameters, not like in Innova, you put some values. Here it's going to guess, and it's going to guess a very small value, actually a value similar to this. And it's going to take a long time, and it's going to use memory. Long time, probably 3 minutes, which probably is a long time for such a simple geometry. But you can imagine more complex geometry. Okay, since can get very expensive, and very easily you can run out of memory. So basically, what we need to do here is like these similar steps that we did previously. Okay, so the first one that very important. Remember always to create face groups. Now to extract the feature edges that we have here. So face group, and perfect, we have it there. The sphere, there is no need to do it, but if you want, you can create face group in the sphere. Okay, so that will be kind of a patch information. Now that we have this, we can go and, for instance, we can do a retriangulation of this one. Okay, instead of starting from this one that I know it would work, but it's better to have something that is similar to the other geometry. So I can go here, I select everything, remesh, and you have different actions here. Okay, so feel free to play with the options. Always reset defaults. Okay, be careful about that, because otherwise when you move to another geometry, since you have previous values from another geometry, it will be tricky, you know. It will be very slow because it will use those values and it will give you problems. So see that you have this is not even close to the cube, because here we need to preserve sharp angles. Okay, so see that what happens on open borders, and I'm happy with this. Let me do another remesh. So remesh have a shortcut that is R, and I would put there, and see that I put in there, and let me do another remeshing and put it there. And let me do another one. But since you will realize that since at this point, if you are working, they start to get slow. See that I'm trying to move this light bar, but it's getting slow. Now it's using memory. Okay, small geometry, but it's using memory, and that's why I prefer to work in Innova or a good meshing tool, because they don't have the same memory requirements. They are much faster. But now that we have this, I have a good agreement between the meshes. Or if you want to do things even better, and let me go here, sculpting, and let me go here and refine. I would select just the Q there. Let me reduce the, no, it's too small, this one, and let me go here. See that you start to refine, and this will be much better. Be careful not to apply this refine in the edges here in the sharp angles, because it will smooth that. And let me show you what will happen. See that? And you don't want that. You want to conserve that sharp angle. Okay, so also stay a little bit far from there. And let me go here. So these are tricks now you learn on the way. Always, as I mentioned, be careful that this can create some funky triangles and that can give you problems. The normals might not be oriented in the right way. I already see here that I have intersecting triangles there. So basically, to avoid that one, you can go here and you can smooth. Okay, so applying smoothing there. Here also I can see. So be careful, be very careful about that. So here I'm just showing you different ways to do it, but always I like to apply that smoothing, and I went very close there. So now that this is fine, okay, maybe here you can use a smaller brush and do that, but I will skip that. Select here, and now I go Boolean, and there you go. So this is, first it would show you the possible solution, and this is the possible solution. As you see, it's a very good one. If you want to get something even better, select this one now, and it will get that intersection edge and make it better. But it can be, again, it can be something that it will can use a lot of memory. It can be very slow, or sometimes it can crash your computer, so be careful about that. Always now and then save everything, but this is perfect. Feel free to play with these options. I will click set, and there you go. And as I told you, I always recommend you to be careful to use the full options on when you move to the next case. Remember that you were doing something, and those default options that you put there, they remain safe. So if you put a very low value and then you move to the next mesh that is big, with a lot of triangles, very small, it likely will crash. So be careful about that. So that is a behavior that I don't like. But in any case, it's not a big of a deal. And there you go. We have our triangulation. And now we can export it. So to export, and also just to be sure, just to show you transparency here, see that it's a proper Boolean. Okay. And you can go and, let me put here. By the way, I didn't show you about the normals also. So if you want to see the normals, select everything. And here you have the normal information. You can flick normal. So, but it's very important to see if the normals are oriented in the right way. Let me flip. So you have the four normals oriented in the wrong way. This is what you get, this color map. So basically what is happening with this normal, and why they are so important, because this normal, they are going to define the texture and how scenes are illuminating, the lighting, and so on. So these shaders depends on those normals. So if I put this shader, it's not going to work because the normals are pointing inwards. So it's not going to apply that texture. So that's why they are so important. And it's a similar concept in Snappy XMesh. So now I'm talking to the OpenThumb community. It's a same concept. So here now I flip normals, and let me put this another shader, and there you go. Now it works as it should be. Okay. So here, when you can do the selections in a group of faces and flick normals if you see that something is not oriented in the right way. So now let me go, when you export, and let me export this, and I will go test. You save. It didn't complain. So sometimes it will tell you that when you have no manifold faces. So here I apply that smoother and I solve the problem. But I'm quite sure that if I don't apply that smoother, when it's exporting, it will give you a warning. Attention, you have some manifold face, so something that should be repaired. It might not give you problems in Innova, but let me go here. So now I am and let me go desktop. Okay, so okay, let me move it from here to here, and let me open here, and now I'm in the wrong directory. Okay, bam, let me go here, put it here, and this was the one I just exported. And there you go, perfect geometry. See that you have all the feature edges, everything. And if I click here, there you go. So this is not a surface triangulation. This is the triangulation used to solve the geometry. This is not a topological parametrical geometry. this is a triangulation, and my advice always, please do use parametrical cap. Okay, so you use these triangulations, you are going to encounter many problems. It can be tricky to deal with. And I think at this point, and done, just to show you know the last part here. So for instance, this is called, and this is super cool here. I really like it. For instance, let me use this one and select this one and see that you can move it like this. And now let me move it, and I intersected here and not intersected, but let me keep it pushing and then get there. It didn't intersect there, so let me go undo. For instance, this one I can push, this one, and let me put it here. Okay, so you can create spikes. Have this one. This is super cool also. Boom, you have this spike. So you can do many things. Again, is you move something, and I was trying to do it, but it didn't work. Let me go probably this one. Okay, let me go like this, this. Now let me go move this one. Let me intersect this one. Okay, they are moving. So if you intersect there, you can do the same steps now as we did previously. Now that you select a region, intersect, separate, create faces, and so on. So this is all for this tutorial. Now, as you get, now you have another approach. This one probably, it will let you do some sculpting, but it might not be as easy as Innova. It's up to you. It depends what you are doing. So if you are working with organic shapes and so on, maybe it would be better this one, because with Innova, this stuff, you don't have it. So I was talking about a geometry and replace. So I will prepare another video to show you now what I did with this geometry. So let me go here. So our Christmas card was this one, and let me go here. I have this. So I think this one is already the one that I clean a little bit. So there you go. So see that I clean a lot. I was playing around, and let me show you the original one. So here I did some intersections, which I show in the video now how to intersect that. So let me go and import append, and here I have it separated. And look at the difference between after and before. So let me apply here, edit and transform. Okay, let me see, edit, transform, let me translate. So it's not translating, I don't know why. Okay, I need to select. I have it also here, transform, and there you go. Okay, so set, and let's put there. So look at what happened here. So the original geometry that I had was this one, and it was a cool, nice geometry, but see that the triangulation is not very fine. And what I use here is just applying those sculpting actions, that digital clay. I just refine here, I erase all those sharp angles. Also look at that here in the face, the details. I added the eyes there now, kind of. Then I really like here in the back the teddy bear. So here you have the teddy bear, very cute, very nice. But here I got it even better, and same concept. I added the eyes here, also in the ears. I make it better. Here you have the candy bar here in the back, and also I make it better. So this is the stuff that you can do now with MeshMixer or Blender or Space Clean or Fusion 3D now to manipulate the meshes. But this is not the way now to work in CFD. CFD, you want that parametric cat, but for whatever reason you are using surface triangulation, organic shapes. This is another way to do it. Also here you have the intersection as well. So look at that, the same trick that I showed you, I apply it here. So I refine here, here. It kind of looks like a surface triangulation done with a Delanoy, but it's not a Delanoy, it's just using these options sculpting there. So very cool. There's a lot of stuff to do, very powerful. And what I mentioned, that all the options are readily available here. It's not like you use the other tools to find those options that are hidden. So here you're just clicking. Okay, probably at the beginning you will be a little bit alienated or it will be a little bit difficult to use, but you will get used very fast. So important concept is selection. It's very important how to select. So you have here selections. Then after you select something, you can apply manipulators. You have many of them. You can also do a sculpting. Okay, just to show you keying here. So for instance, the refine here is the one that I can use here, and see that when you are refining, you are just removing sharp angles, or you can go and use the brutal way here, the robust smoother, and it's going to smooth everything. So be careful about that. So it's up to you what you can do. Okay, so at this point, I think I'm done with this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I will prepare a few more about MeshMixer because it's very powerful. So in this series of mesh education, now we're talking about this surface triangulation, that if you are using this string rad is very important, and here you have a few options how to manipulate it. So thank you for your attention. Also, don't forget to subscribe, okay, to our channel. And if you have suggestions for new videos when it comes to meshing and this stuff, just let us know, and we might be able to do something when we find time. Okay, thank you and bye. See you next time.